What's up guys, welcome back to another vlog. As you can see, I'm down at my lockup. We're all in isolation, lockdown and whatnot, COVID-19. Fortunately for me, I live not very far from my lockup, so I could probably walk down here if I wasn't so lazy. So I can still come down here and be in complete isolation and whatnot. So over the next 4 weeks, I'll probably spend a bit of time down here and work on the toy car. Got a big list of stuff to do to that, so that's what I'm going to probably rip into and get some stuff done on that. So yeah, let's check it out. The basics, I've still got to tidy up all this wiring that is horrendous. Get rid of this charcoal canister, no need for that, we're not here for the environment. All that wiring for main battery cables and stuff has to go, or at least get tidied up. And then under here, I'm actually not sure, because like I said, I've got a clearance these inner guards, so I don't know what I'm going to do there yet, whether I just take it with a hammer or with a this fancy catch can will go. And then yeah, under here, this side is the side I'm worried about, because with the main relay fuse box there, I can't go beating around or cutting this side up too much, so we'll see what happens there. Getting rid of that box means I can get rid of this stuff that goes across the front here. And eventually, with going through a turbo, it means somebody has nicely rewired the airflow meter to come from this side over to here. It will just go back to that side for the airflow meter. Because I'm probably going to run a pretty basic ECU in this, so we'll probably still have an airflow meter on it. But yeah, these front guards have to come off. I've got to go and relocate the wiring that runs up under here for clearance of the wheels. We all know with these Nissans that wheels love to rub through the wiring in there and start to create all kinds of problems. So I'll move that now before you even run into the problem. Inside, yeah, I'm probably going to cut these inner door skins off. I didn't plan to run a full interior in this, and I don't know if I like having all these edges and stuff on the doors, so it might be better just to cut it off for the sake of weight, and so I don't have to put a door card or anything on it, because I've got no inner door handles and stuff anyway, so it's already a pain in the butt. I might as well just cut it off, in my eyes. Driver seat's mounted. Somebody's done actually a decent-ish job of mounting this driver's seat, but I need to cut this front rail out, because I can't put the front of it down anymore. It touches over this side here. So that'll get cut out, and because I'm also going to put this driver's seat on a slider so I can move it forward and back. Because the idea of this car is that hopefully anybody and everybody can jump in and drive it, from my crew to anybody that helps me. I can just tell them to let loose in this car. So we need to make it so it's pretty universal, so stuff like the seat moves. Another reason for cutting these out is when I do the roll cage, I might see if I can get some bars bent up, that the side intrusions, so they actually run out a little bit. Just makes it easier for getting in and out of the car, especially if you're on the bigger side. So yeah, that is probably what we'll do the driver's side. Passenger side, some more fabrication over here. So everybody knows a big problem with Silvias is getting the damn seats to sit nice and low, especially if you're taller. I'm not a very tall person, so it doesn't affect me, but I do know some tall people and stuff, or have some tall people on my crew and all that always struggle to get nice and low in these things. So naturally, this hump here has to be cut out. That's usually where the factory cat would sit under there, I think it is. It helps in the exhaust lift that up, but we don't run that, so we'll just cut that hump out and flatten that side of the floor out so that we can get this passenger seat to sit down a bit lower. So yeah, just so that passengers we can take, again, a universal thing. We don't want to have to limit people we can take or people who can drive it, so we'll try and make everything nice and universal, nice and big if it has to be big. So yeah, again, so that hump there will get cut out. I'll have to make up some probably similar mounts to what the driver's side's got. This side won't be on a slider. I'll sit a bit further back, and then yeah, it doesn't have to be on a slider because we don't deal with steering wheels and pedals on this side. I'm going to make a new panel up here. This thing's pretty ugly, so I'm going to make a panel that sort of flows with the dash a bit better and remount all these switches and stuff, which also means my ignition stuff that's on that side, I'm either going to move from there to the switch panel, or I may even put it up here in the roof just so it's easy to get at. And then yeah, this battery is horrendous, so I've got to move that. That's going to go back up there so I can put a passenger seat here. It's obviously in the way of that. And then all this stuff has to get moved. So the battery switch I'm going to move up there. I've got a bracket here that I'm hopefully going to be able to set up with that switch in it and just place it up there. Bye. And then yeah, under here I've reshaped the arches. You probably can't see that, but I've got to weld a small piece of sheet of steel under there to fill in this massive gap that you can see up into the car. So all that has to be filled in yet. And then yeah, in the boot, all I want to do back here is really, you can see, luckily it came with some nice battery cables. That's probably what I'll reuse when I redo the main battery cable. And then yeah, brakes, I'm going to hook up these brake lights because there's one high stop and under there you can see that's been wired up. Pretty ugly. So I have to tidy up that wiring too. But then I need to wire up these rear ones as well. Or I don't need to, but I want to, because I don't like cars that only have a high stop. So if these work as well, that's good. So luckily I've got some spare lights over there that have the bulb holders in them. So I'll throw those in. And then unfortunately somebody has cut the wiring for back here, but I'll just splice back into there and wire up these tail lights so that the brake lights go. Yeah, so there's quite a bit to do to this, but follow along and yeah, I'll try and keep it interesting, and we've all got 4 weeks to kill, so no excuse not to watch these. Alright, so to start with, I'm going to start in the engine bay, sorting all that stuff in here, and then working my way back down the car. So luckily there's not a lot of fabrication stuff in here, and I'll just start by stripping everything out and then sort of starting again with all the wiring and things like that. So yeah, let's rip into it. Ta-da! So can gone, catch can, mind you, I've got to put another pipe on there, and yeah, all that ugly wiring is gone. So I haven't actually rewired any of it yet, just wanted to get it all out of there. So when it comes to wiring things like main battery cables, I'll probably just, there was somebody had bolted, I'll rip this off. Someone had bolted the main battery cable to this group of wires here, so I've just put that back to that main terminal there, and then my main battery cable I'll just run down to the starter down there from inside, so it's all under there and not seen. And then the other wiring is most of these lights and stuff, so when it comes to those I'll run that back up through the guard, because the guard will be off, so it won't be that hard. And then there's another wire that literally ran from this main battery cable to a switch to the wipers. So yeah, somebody's really RFB'd this stuff, but yeah, we'll tidy that up now. I'm probably going to carry on with this wiring because now it's all just sitting in the car. So I'll carry on in here, get rid of it all in here, move the battery, mount the switch, mount all the switches and stuff, and then I'll actually start to rewire everything. So yeah, we'll rip into that. Alright guys, it's actually a new day. The GoPro actually died yesterday and I had to go get lunch, so I shot home and stayed home. So we're back again today and we're going to carry on with all this stuff. Can't wait. We're jumping forward a bit because I really started to scratch my head on how I was actually going to do everything, so it got pretty boring to watch probably. So I've just cracked on and got everything remounted. So we made a new plate for there. Seems completely overkill for the sake of 2 switches, but I only really need 2 switches. One's for the set of lights up the front and the other's for the window wipers. So yeah, I think that looks tidier to me than a random panel. I've shifted my ignition stuff up here, so ignition and start is now up there, and the battery kill switch is here in the middle. All of that is pretty easy to get to for the driver, especially the ignition and that switch are the main ones. Those two there you might have to lean forward a little bit, but yeah, main 2 of those 2 for starting the car and stuff are nice and easy to get at. And then I've mounted my battery. I used the plastic box that was at the back. Now it's pretty secure, but just being a plastic box, it's not as secure as it could be, so I may redo that yet. And I've got a couple straps to hold the battery, but again, like, it's not as good as I'd like, so I probably will redo that. So now that everything is mounted, now I've just got to rewire it all. So I've got my main battery cable down there. But yeah, so that's it for today. Tomorrow I'll come back and actually start rewiring all this stuff. And now the main reason I'm doing all this is to simplify everything. There's nothing worse than a track day where you're chasing wiring issues. So the simpler everything is, the easier it can be to fix. So yeah, crack on tomorrow. Made it back again, so into the wiring. First up, we're going to do the battery, hook up a negative and then run the positive there to the starter. I'll do that first because I've got a few things to check for power and stuff, so I need power from the battery. Then you can see the ignition's a bit of a mess over there, so that's got to be tidied up and run up to there. And then we just got these couple switches here. So yeah, oh, and the brake lights I've still got to hook up and tidy up that stuff. So we're going to rip into that today. One thing I'm loving about this is how basic it is. Like, it's already so much easier than this thing. I mean, right off the bat, look how many switches this thing's got. That's a lot because it's got power windows and stuff like that, water pumps, power steering to power and stuff. So definitely a lot more complicated. Also just, yeah, the amount of stuff I had to mount on the inside compared to that car. Oh, this one's already proven to be way easier, so that's a bonus. Alright, well yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, another day, another dollar. I'll go through what I got done yesterday. So, boom. Our negative is hooked up to the battery, and then our positive runs down to our switch, and our switch runs forward to the starter. Dumb thing about not running much interior is I can't actually hide a lot of that. But yeah, oh well, it's all hooked up. My ignition's all hooked up, and my wipers are hooked up. So, got a lot done yesterday. If we check it out, power on, ignition, then we can start it. But I'm not actually going to start it because I've got a drive shaft that's not actually hooked up to a diff and it still spins in neutral. So found that out yesterday, so I can't actually start it. Now, a few hiccups yesterday. This switch turned out to be a dud. It's working all right now, but it did play up yesterday, so I probably better replace that before I take it to anything serious, because last thing I want is something that I know is a problem causing a problem. And the other one was my fuel pump decided to crap out. So luckily I could just pull it out and gave it a tap and got it going again, so it works now, so I could fire the car up. But yeah, that I've left it slightly apart because it's going to have to be upgraded later anyway and set up a surge tank and stuff. So yeah, that's another day's problem. It runs for now. And then yeah, my wipers work. Unfortunately there's no auto stop, so you have to stop them yourself. My lights I haven't finished yet because that's what this bundle of wire here is for. I've got to pull that front guard off, and that's today's mission, is finish that and lift that wiring and stuff up, and there to clearance that. And what else? Oh, my brake lights. So that's all been hooked up, tidied up, and yeah, that'll work. So got a bit done yesterday, which is cool, and yeah, a few little things today. I got this front guard off. I actually pulled both sides off because I'm actually going to replace the front guards with some fiberglass ones that are slightly wider, and that's something to match the back because we put wider guards on the rear. I'll put something wider on the front just to match that, so it doesn't look too out of place. I'm not a huge fan of running fiberglass guards and stuff on the front if you don't have a really wide setup. So yeah, I've actually got quite a collection of pre-facelift guards down here now, so if the fiberglass ones don't work out, I'll just do something with those. But yeah, so bonus of these Silvias is they don't actually run any loom on the passenger side. Like I know in my C33 the actual engine harness comes up through here, and that can be rubbed through as well. These Silvias are better, they just come up through the firewall there, no clearance issues. But driver's side, we'll see what I'm talking about. Look at the loom, it's all there, right above the wheel. And a really common place is it rubs through in these corners when you start doing steering modifications and stuff. So what we'll do is we'll probably cut this corner out and then just run the loom up and over into there, along with my wire for the lights. So yeah, I'll carry on. Boom. And that's a wrap. So yeah, we cut this corner out, I beat it out a little bit, and then our loom runs hard in there. I've kept the plastic cover on there, in fact, and put some rubber between the steel body and the loom there. So yeah, now it all runs up, out of the way of the wheel, so hopefully we don't have any issues. All the yellow tape that was already on that loom was because somebody had already rubbed through it before. So yeah, we've tidied all that up. Now it's out of the way and my lights are all wired up. So yeah, that's pretty much it for rewire. Anything I've got to rewire on this car, which is a huge bonus. So now I've hooked the lights up to the ignition source so that they can't be left on. And yeah, so now we've got some lights, and yeah, that's cool. Now I've got to move on to the fabrication stuff, so I'm actually going to call it a day because I can't be bothered. It's about lunchtime, so I'm just going to go home for lunch and stay home, play some Forza. So yeah, we've got to get the grinder out and cut, as I was saying, those out. Passenger's floor, cut these inner door trims off and take these guards off and reassess them. So yeah, I can't be bothered starting that today. I'll be back some other day to do that. So yeah, cheers for watching, guys, and until next time.